Hey guys, welcome to this week's new episode of the Blown Fuse podcast. If you are new here, the Blown Fuse podcast is a shorter styled podcast that features the week's latest tech news and deals. Consider subscribing or following on whichever platform you're listening on so that you do not miss out. Now, let's get into this jam-packed week of tech news. Alright guys, so before we get into today's episode, I want to quickly cover a global issue, COVID in India. You guys probably already know. It's pretty bad. Unless you're living in Iraq, you should probably know this. And so though I know I am not probably gonna get this to many people, I just wanted to put it out because every tiny bit of support matters. I'm gonna leave links for organizations that you can donate or support so that they can send supplies over there. So let's get started with Tesla. So we're gonna get a new full self-driving update very soon from Tesla, and Elon Musk is hyping this quite a bit. So it's going to have something called probability distribution, which basically means that the car will be thinking of all the possible movements and actions of things in the environment, such as cars, objects, road signs, pedestrians, and that sort of stuff. And so this is going to lead to a lot better accuracy, as well as smoother displays on the in-car display of all the objects and cars. Also, they're going to stop relying on radar data, and they're going to start relying mostly on camera data, which is going to be pretty interesting to see how that's going to work. Next story for Tesla is that the 4680 cell batteries will start production soon, and so these are basically those very high range models, and they're also very easier to manufacture. These were announced some time ago at Battery Day, and now they're gonna start production soon. And the exciting part is, guys, once these are starting to being produced, it's gonna unlock a lot of things, such as the Tesla Semi, the Cybertruck, the Model S Plaid Plus, and the Roadster, because these are all waiting for this high cell battery. Alright, next up, let's talk about SpaceX. The Starship SN15 performed 2 static fire tests in a 24-hour time span this week, and SN15 was also about to launch on Friday, or today when I'm recording this, but now it's probably gonna launch on Tuesday, but it's a slight chance on the weekend. But if you guys want to watch this, definitely I would recommend you watch this. It's actually very fun to watch it, and personally I watch the launches on a channel called NASA Space Flight. They give amazing commentary and great coverage. Personally, I like it, so I'm just gonna tell you guys to check it out. I'm not sponsored or told by them to say this, obviously. Alright guys, so let's get started with Apple first off. We have a lot of things to cover here, so we're going to be going a bit fast. Let's talk about OLED MacBooks first. So expert leaker Ming-Chi Kuo ruled out OLED MacBooks some time ago, but now disparate experts are saying that it's probably going to happen soon, and Apple will do this most likely. So basically, the problem here we're gonna see though is OLEDs, they age over time and burn in. Basically, say if you're using a certain application for 8 hours, over time that might just imprint into your screen. Now it can be solved by many things, and honestly OLED screens are already in iPhones, so I wouldn't be that much surprised if they bring it to the MacBooks to give amazing screen quality. So next up, the old Magic Keyboard will be working with the new M1 iPad Pro, which was rumored that it won't. But the thing is, it won't fit perfectly. So it's kind of going to be a little bit off, and that kind of brings to a question: are the new M1 iPad Pros different in sizing, in thickness, or what is that? I mean, today I believe is when the pre-order starts, so those should start rolling out pretty soon, and I can't wait to see videos about those. Okay, and now this one is a really interesting one. Researchers are claiming that night shift doesn't help you go to sleep. So basically, BYU researched 3 groups of people. A group with people using night shift, people without using night shift, and people not using their phone. And basically, they figured out that there's not much difference between night shift and no night shift while using your phone. Which brings up the question, why did Apple make night shift? I would have expected Apple to done some research before they made this feature. Maybe it's just to reduce eye strain, but they do claim that it's supposed to help you sleep due to reduced blue light. But I'm interested to know what you guys think. And now Apple sales are at the highest they have ever been in 9 years. And I feel like that's definitely because of the new M1 Max and all the new stuff that they've launched, but highest in 9 years. That's a pretty big statement. And on top of that, iPads are also going through the roof in terms of sales. Very high amount of sales, around 44% up, and that is going to be a problem, unfortunately, because of the next story we're covering. So Apple has finally hit the chip shortage like most other companies right now. Third quarter sales might actually be less by 3 to 4 billion because of this shortage of chips. Now here's the thing, this isn't a shortage of chips, of M1 chips, but rather it's these chips that Apple calls legacy node chips, and these are specifically for tasks such as like decoding audio, battery management, data transmission, and all these other smaller things that go on in your device. And now this is caused because these chips are using older manufacturing methods, and that's basically these types of chips are what the whole world has a shortage in. And this is actually now affecting many car brands, as they don't have the processing chips that are necessary to put in the cars, so they're producing less cars. Samsung and many other electronics manufacturers are also getting affected. Now the interesting thing is Apple is now finally getting hit with this, when this actually started like early last year, and this kind of shows like these big companies like Apple, they can get by for very long, but when an issue persists for this long, they eventually do get affected. Okay guys, and then the final thing for Apple that we have for today is that Apple added a search suggestions feature to the App Store. And this is basically when you search for something in the App Store, you can now further refine it with categories, such as if you search games, you can filter to puzzles, racing, and things like that. Honestly, I think this would be useful, but at the same time, I don't know how useful this would be, because usually if you want to search games, you click the games tab at the bottom. You don't go searching for games. When you use a search, you're usually searching for a specific app. So I really want to see how this works, and how many people will actually end up using this. And next up guys, we are going to be talking about Straddle Launch. And basically they tested their world's widest plane named Rock for the second time. This plane has 6 engines and 2 separate bodies with separate cockpits, and it flew for a little bit more than 3 hours. Pretty interesting plane, and honestly the only reason I'm mentioning this is because this could be like an evolution for planes eventually, and honestly that would be pretty interesting. Next, let's talk about some privacy stuff, and specifically Alibaba, and they are not happy with iOS 14.5's new app tracking transparency feature. So Alibaba runs a major ad company in China, and they're not happy with this policy, because with this policy in place, they cannot really do what the ad company does, which is track things so that they can make personalized ads. And this is actually going to be an issue with many other people, because Apple is going all down for privacy, and this is going to affect a lot of companies. And speaking of tracking, Google is starting to test their FLOC in Chrome, and this is supposed to prevent ad tracking from third-party companies. But here's the thing, Google will collect some data with it, and you can't even opt out of this testing because they have built it into Chrome and everyone just kind of has to do it. But there are ways you can opt out. Obviously, you can switch browsers to opt out. You can also decide to use DuckDuckGo's browser extension, and they have just updated their stuff so that it'll prevent Google from collecting this data. Or the third option you have is turn off third-party cookies in Chrome settings, but this does affect your experience. And honestly, I'm kind of disappointed that Chrome is testing a thing to prevent ad tracking from third-party companies, but then they're collecting data and they don't give you an option to opt out of this testing. And now this one may interest some people, and it's also kind of a weird thing, but Among Us will be coming to PlayStation 4 and 5 later this year. And now there will be some perks such as exclusive skins, hats, and pets for PlayStation players. And there will be cross-platform play as well as online multiplayer, which is a very good thing. I would have been really sad if they decided not to do a cross-platform, because that would mean that you can only play with other PlayStation players, and you can't play with somebody, say, playing on their phone. Say if your friend comes over to your house and he's playing Among Us on your phone and you want to play together, then maybe one of you can now play on the PS4 or PS5 and the other can play on the phone. So good job, Among Us. Alright guys, and so now let's get into the last two stories for today before the deals. The deals are actually pretty cool for today, so don't forget to stick around for those. But these last two stories are kind of just fun stories that I decided to add in. So first of all, Elon Musk has changed X-A12's name, and I probably butchered that, but that's what I googled to see the pronunciation as. But they've changed it now to XAEA-XII to comply with the laws for the name on the birth certificate based on California laws. That's actually really funny that they had to change the name because I don't think you can have numbers in your name in California. And then finally guys, Grid is a company that sells framed Apple devices, and they just launched their framed Series 1 Apple Watch, and essentially these are framed Apple and a few other products that have been teared down, and it actually looks pretty cool, which is why I decided to put it into this episode. You guys can check it out if you want to just by searching Grid, all caps, and you should find it. Alright guys, now let's get into the deals. We have a lot to cover in here, so I'll be going pretty fast. If you need to pause at any time, definitely feel free to pause. So Amazon Echo Show 8 is $105 at Amazon, Best Buy, and Target. Very good deal. The Echo Show 8 is actually a pretty nice smart home. Next up, the Amazon Echo Dot is $30, and with the clock it's $40. Again, a steal. The Echo Dot, especially the new one, which this is what it is actually really nice. It's got a pretty big speaker, and it's not like those dots as much like the previous dots, the tiny dots. And then the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro are for $170. These are normally priced at $200, and so this is 15% off, and you can find this at woot.com. Galaxy S21 is down up to $200, so the S21 5G is $699, the S21 Plus is $799, and the S21 Ultra is $1,000. Again, a killer deal if you're looking for a phone. The S21 is amazing and pretty much the best competitor for the iPhone. Next up, if you're looking for some new headphones, go for the Sony WH-1000 XM4s. These are amazing headphones, and they are $278 on Amazon. These are usually $350, and there's also a bundle that you can get that has a case with a battery pack, which is only $300. So again, this is literally probably one of the best deals for today. Personally, something I would get if I was in the market for headphones. And then we have a major Fitbit sale. The Fitbit Sense is for $250 on Amazon. The Fitbit Versa 3 is $180 at Fitbit. And the Fitbit Inspire 3 is only $69 at Amazon. Again, all of these are quite a bit of money off, and Fitbit is honestly something you should get, especially since a lot of people are online sitting all day, and so it's definitely good to keep a track of your health. And finally, we have the Amazon Eero Mesh Wi-Fi 4-piece for $67 off at $211. This is obviously available on Amazon. And I'm going to tell you this, okay? 4-piece Eero Mesh Wi-Fi system, you'll be covered for 5,000 square feet, and it's going to be solid coverage in all of that 5,000 square feet. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. Again, don't forget to subscribe or follow wherever you were watching, and also guys, don't forget to check out that COVID links I sent. Support is definitely needed, and it takes only a few minutes, so please go ahead and do that. Don't forget to share the podcast with all your friends, and make sure to be here for next week, because next week we're gonna have another jam-packed episode like this week's. But yeah guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe to my personal channel, also Mercy Man on YouTube. But yeah guys, that's pretty much it for this episode. I'm your host Akar Sharma, signing off.